Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies, and we are on Halloween month, October, and we are on our second Halloween movie. Earlier today we did Halloween 1, the very first one that I've seen a million times, but interestingly enough, I have never seen Halloween 2, or whatever its other alternative name could be. Do you know, Marco? Is there
It's
another
called
name?
Halloween too,
And
Safi.
that's it. Okay,
And
there's no other.
well, let me
The
tell
Return of Michael Myers or something like
well,
that.
let me tell you a funny story about Halloween too. When I was a kid, I was forced to watch Halloween every single year, twice a year. We would watch it once when we did pumpkins, and we would watch it another time when we on Halloween. And we would go to Hollywood Video, and for some reason, Safi let me watch Halloween 4, 5, and I think 6 and 7 and 8. But she never let me watch Halloween 2. In fact, I remember a specific time where I even got, like, they had a TV version, and I picked that up and she wouldn't let me get it and watch it. And so it's like a weird, it's another thing where she, like, wouldn't let me watch it for some random
I have
reason.
no idea,
And,
and
and,
it makes no sense whatsoever.
and so and so that's why she hasn't watched it all these years, is because as a kid she wouldn't let me watch it either.
I guess. Yeah, I have no memory of that at all.
I do.
Okay, well, that's nice. Okay, well, interestingly enough, again, I should say, this was a very good movie. It was fast paced, and they did a little bit of continuation from the first one so you wouldn't be dropped off in the middle of the street or in the middle of nowhere. You got a little bit of a lead in, but not a lot to where it bored you to tears. But another thing was, remember how I said tagline? You can see his face, albeit maybe 16 seconds, 12 seconds. But you could see, I mean, full face. And I was so shocked. Well, in this one, they showed that scene again, but they put his face,
Yeah.
I'd say
They
75% of it in shadow.
they cut it out. They cut it.
Oh,
But
okay. Well, you
here's
couldn't
the
see
thing.
his face like the last
Well, here's
movie.
here's the thing is that this movie, he's Michael is treated a lot more mysteriously. And so I think that that was part of an effort to make him more mysterious like he is in the rest of the movie. Like there's a lot of shots where you'll just see his shadow, and you'll see him blend in with the background. Like it's really cool. Like Michael is probably he is so good in this movie, even though he's still not really a character for the most part. He did a really good job, and I think that like it's he almost like didn't even need to be a character in this movie because the movie was just so good already.
Yeah, well, uh, I guess another big shock that I found out, I remember Marco talking about, because he's seen all of them, and he talks about it's talked about Michael's familial relationships. In other words, who he's related to.
Laurie.
Never heard any of that
He's
ever.
Laurie's brother.
And they say that towards the end, the nurse from the very first one drops by to bring a marshal who is sent by the governor to pick up Dr. Loomis because they don't want anybody associated with their project in the papers or TV news or anything, because he's afraid they'll lose their funding, which that's always the case with mental health.
Well, what they should have done was, after this movie, they should have showed like the impact that it had on the asylum, and they could, since Michael's dead, I guess, and they could have had it where like one of the patients who was let out of the asylum because the asylum lost funding, like one of those patients became like the new Michael Myers or something.
Maybe.
That
But
would have been a better sequel idea than, pretending all the sequels didn't happen and then saying, Michael isn't Laurie's brother. She was just a random victim.
well, they plainly said, because she said, I found this file, or this file has been found that was kept under wraps and you should have been able to see it. And then she explained the whole thing, and I'm going to have to talk to Marco, or at least he could explain it. But their brother, the gist of it was that Laurie Strode, whatever her name is, and Michael Myers, are related. They're brother and sister. And so he killed the other sister. So the supposition is he wants to kill her too.
Well, he wants to do it on Halloween as well.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to have it be like a special event type of thing.
And the reason why that is we even say that is because he went to a schoolroom and he drew a little picture of his family, like a little kid's picture, stick figures.
With the kid and then two sisters, and then he put the knife into one of the sisters.
And on the board, he writes in blood something to do with St. Salmon's Day or Salmon or.
Don't even try.
Well,
to
I know,
discuss
and it
the
doesn't.
details,
Nobody knows, but that's supposed to be a celebration of Halloween. So therefore, they conclude that he wants to kill Laurie on Halloween.
Yeah.
And even though they're about to take Dr. Loomis away, he says, well, where did they take Laurie? And he finds out they took her to the clinic, of course, because she's really hurt herself and got stabbed as well. So he figures out, well, that's where he is. He's at the clinic going after her. And so they head over there. If it hadn't been for him sticking around and forcing, by gunpoint, the marshal to go there,
she would have
she'd
been
probably be dead, you know.
And so yet again, her character is sort of exposed as sort of like a useless character. And she's basically just the main character by default. But really, Dr. Loomis is the one who actually does things, and he helps the plot move forward by going after Michael Myers. And so I would say that this movie is a perfect movie. I don't really have any issues with it at all. It really takes everything that was bad about the first movie and improves on it.
Yeah, it does, and which is a great thing. Why can't other people do that?
For instance, we ragged on the dialogue. Well, Laurie hardly talks in this movie, and for the most part, the dialogue is not that bad. So I would say that, like, you know, everything about the first one dramatically improved. And another thing is the setting is really good. The hospital, you know, the hospital is something a lot of people have an issue with because they always say, you know, where's the other patients? Why is it so empty?
Well, that's true. Where were they?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't even care. See, when movies are good, you can overlook things that don't make sense.
Well, yeah, the problem is at the end, in order to get rid of Michael, well, they don't get rid of Michael, but Dr. Loomis actually got rid of himself in the process, unfortunately.
He stood right next to the gas line.
They were in the room where there was ether, oxygen.
And he blew them up.
And he turned in fact, they all did, whoever was in there, turned all the things up, the big canisters, turned them on, opened them up, and all that gas is floating around. And Laurie, what happened was he got...
It doesn't matter,
well,
Safi.
he
Why
couldn't
does it
see,
matter?
and Laurie
Everyone's
escaped.
seen the movie.
And
Everyone's seen it.
As she escapes, Dr. Loomis lights that lighter and then blows it up. Well, the whole hospital blew up.
Another thing
That's
about
why I
this
was
movie
thinking
that's
about
good.
other patients not being there. I guess it was a good thing. That's what I was talking about.
I don't
That's
know.
what I meant.
Because I don't know, like, the layout of the hospital. I don't know, like, where that room is in relation. Because that would have been funny if, like, another patient got killed, too. Or maybe then you could have had a patient who was scarred, and then they became the new Michael Myers. Like, everyone's just becoming Michael Myers.
But he did the thing again before that scene. And I know everybody saw it, well, fine, but it just shows this thing about he shot him
4 times.
Shot him again, right? And she shot him in the face.
No, she shot his eyes out, which that's another issue people have. They say that her shooting was too accurate, and I agree, but I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I wondered about that too. I thought, wow, she's a really good shot.
Well, and another thing is that if you shoot someone in the eye, it doesn't matter if you shoot them in the head, it'll kill them.
That's right.
Because the bullet goes through their brain.
So, I mean, you're thinking, like, how the hell is he still alive?
He has to be possessed by something or someone.
Well, yeah.
It's almost
or he's
like
really an alien.
He has no free will, though. I don't think he's an alien because
I'm just saying that because of that show.
Well, I'm taking it seriously.
Well, I'm just saying that, okay? Because of that show I've been watching, and Aliens, and now season 10, apparently the aliens show up again.
Let's not talk about American horror crap.
Okay, well, anyway, it's weird. And I mean, that's only the second Halloween. So, I mean, just think of...
They didn't want to do any more Halloweens after this one. They wanted this one to be the last one.
Well,
and then
the producer, one of the main producers was killed or he died. I don't remember.
That's not the story,
Well, that
Safi.
might be the thing. Is that's why they wanted
it.
it. I don't know. It may
no,
be.
Safi, I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
They wanted to make an anthology series.
Oh, yeah, you said
and
that.
So these first two were supposed to take place in the same night, and it's a complete story, of course. And then after that, it's just different stories. But then all the fanboys complained. And they said, we're not going to watch Halloween 3 because Michael isn't in it, and Laurie isn't in it, and Dr. Loomis isn't in it. And so you had all these pussy fanboys who forced them to go back to doing Michael Myers, even though it doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah, really.
But one of the other things is that the music in this is actually better than the first ones.
Yes.
So they improved the music. They literally improved everything. I mean, this movie is literally like a masterpiece in horror. And the kills, there's a lot of kills, and they're all fantastic, except for, like, I think one I didn't like. It might have been the doctor, because he just like, put the needle through his eye, but, like, he didn't, that wouldn't kill someone.
Yeah.
So I think that could have been better, but there are so many kills in this movie. They're all so much better than the ones in the first one. The best kill is obviously the one where he picks the nurse up and stabs her with the scalpel.
Yeah, but the thing about that one is he did the thing where he must be a welterweight or lifts weights, a weightlifter, where he is an Olympic champion because with one arm,
Safi,
he lifts the nurse up to the top and I mean, really, one arm.
We already established he's possessed, though.
I know, it just kills me.
If he's possessed by a force,
he can do
then
anything.
he can do anything.
Okay, I just...
And that kill is the greatest kill in the series. It's a fantastic kill. It's perfect. Everything about it's perfect. I don't know. There really isn't any flaw in this movie to talk about. So...
Yeah, so we both enjoyed it, and I was happy to see it. I'd never seen it before, and I just thought it was hilarious, though, after making a big deal about being able to see his face. And, that was also the thing, I don't know, was this one, this was the 35th anniversary edition.
No, that was the first one.
Yeah, I know, for the first one.
So
that was... So yeah. I'm wondering if the first one, a regular version, in other words, it wasn't a special thing.
No, Safi.
They wouldn't have shown his face, but they showed it for this anniversary.
No,
edition.
Safi.
No.
We've already told you that when we watched Halloween 1.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I made this big deal, and then they showed the exact same scene.
Really stuck.
The exact same, and you couldn't see his face. You could see a tiny, tiny fraction of, but that's not the same as seeing the entire face, where it's like, here I am, yay!
Something that I really liked about
I couldn't believe it.
The second one is that she has like a love interest named Jimmy, and he kind of looks like the guy from the first one a little bit. The face that we got to see
Oh,
when he has the mask taken off, he kind of looks like him a little bit.
I
And
don't
so
think so.
yeah, he a little bit like he had like the same kind of like face and eyes, and he had dark hair. And I think that the movie was really trying to make a point that Michael Myers was like someone that anyone could become if they became that evil.
Oh,
And so people have kind of misunderstood the character because they've either said, "Oh, he was a human." There's actual people who say he's a human,
they've got to be kidding.
and there's other people who say he's a freak of nature and a force of nature too, and those people are also weird because he's literally he has blood come out of his body when he's shot. Uh, so, anyways, guess what John Carpenter thinks about Halloween 2?
What?
Oh, he changed his story like a million times about whether he wanted to do it, whether he likes it or not. One time he called it an abomination.
What?
And then years later he did an interview and he said that he never wanted to do it, but he was forced to. And so he would drink a six-pack of beer and try to come up with ideas for the script. And he just wrote the script drunk. He didn't put any effort into it at all. And he never wanted Michael to be Laurie's brother.
Oh.
Which was bullshit because then he did it anyway. He still could have he could have done something else, but he chose to do that. So whether he wanted to or not, that's what happened. And a lot of times when you make movies, there are happy accidents like that. So I just wanted to bring that up, since we both love this movie, but John Carpenter himself doesn't like it at all, apparently.
Well, probably didn't like us. He didn't want to do it. And so he had a bad attitude to begin with.
Well, he didn't even direct it though. Someone else directed it and did a better job than he did with the first one. So,
Oh. All right.
So,
Well, I think we should wrap it up now. Because
Really?
if there's nothing bad to say about it, I guess we should rate it though. Wow.
Yeah. Rate it in terms of food,
That is
Safi.
interesting.
It's
I
so
would
funny
say
because we're so used to doing TV show reviews now, so we kind of forget about rating things in terms of food, right?
Yeah, right.
So, what would you rate it?
Well, I think I'd give it a hot fudge sundae, which I don't like that much anymore, but I used to love them, where there's lots of fudge and there's nuts and whipped cream and a cherry.
Who's the whipped cream? Or what's the whipped cream?
I guess the whipped cream is Dr. Loomis. I don't know.
What are the nuts? Lori?
Yeah.
What's the ice cream?
I guess the ice cream is I don't know what he was, a sheriff? He's the support cycle who tried to do the best he could do. But even though, and remember, they had, in this movie, they have a red herring character, a man, which I thought this was odd. He had a Michael Myers mask on.
That was a fantastic scene.
And so they thought that was him, and Dr. Loomis was going to shoot him.
Yeah.
And you could tell it wasn't him because of his body and what he was wearing, and his neck was showing. It looked more like a mask. When Michael Myers has a mask on, it almost looks like it's part of his head, and it connects to his suit. But this guy, it looked like a Halloween mask. The way they showed it, they showed a lot more of his neck, and you could just tell.
What was the hot fudge?
I guess that guy worrying about him, and then he I don't know what happened. He passed out in the parking lot in his car, which probably saved him because he could have been killed. But what was really queer about it was that just maybe 15 minutes before, he'd been lying in blood. And I'm not talking about a little smattering. It was like they poured a whole bottle of it on the floor. And he had slipped. There was a body, and there was somebody who was killed and there was blood everywhere, all over the floor. And he saw the guy, and he turned around and he slipped full force on with his feet, and he fell flat on his back. And then you would think, now I'm talking about a huge puddle of blood. There would be blood everywhere, all over the back of his shirt. He got in the he was out in the parking lot because she was hiding out there, and he went out there, and he got in the car, and she's saying, "Oh, it's you. It's whatever his name was." And
Jimmy.
there was nothing on his back.
Jimmy!
There wasn't any blood on his shirt at all.
Jimmy!
What the hell? He just was lying in a pool of blood.
Yeah, there was no blood anymore.
That was, but anyway.
Continuity.
Yeah, I know, and that wouldn't have been hard to continuity.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah, that
Well,
would have been hard to pull off. So that's okay. It doesn't matter. At least he was saved by his own dumb luck, because he had just really hit his head.
I used to think that this
back.
movie. I used to be in the mindset that this movie was the overrated one, and one of the reasons was I didn't like that how Jimmy's character, he had this like stupid thing where he slips and then he gets useless again. Like, I never liked that, but I like it now, and I completely changed my mind. Anyways, my review for this movie, it's tough because it's such a perfect movie, but I don't know if I would give it spaghetti, because spaghetti is usually for like the best movies, like Fright Night. So I think that I'm gonna rate this movie. I rated the first movie a cheeseburger meal from the school cafeteria. Well, I give this movie. It's tough. I'm just gonna give it spaghetti anyway. I give it a bowl of spaghetti, and let's just say that the spaghetti doesn't have any Italian sausage, because it's just not the best, and it doesn't have any Parmesan cheese, and it doesn't have any special drink or any sides or anything. It's just a bowl of spaghetti with some margarine in the middle, not butter, and the margarine is Lori, because there's very little of her, and she's really not annoying like she is in the first movie, and she's still a likable character, a lot more likable than in the first one. And so I give this movie a bowl of spaghetti, which I'm not really happy with that review, because it feels like this movie deserves something more unique, but I think that's what I'll give it anyway. Well, Safi?
Okay, well, if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe. We always love new subscribers. And if you have a comment about this movie or anything else, feel free. I'm not gonna be offended. And if Marco acts offended, oh well. But I do get offended occasionally, because I feel like I'm underestimated or I'm misunderstood. But that can happen with anybody.
Well, that usually happens when people talk about certain things nowadays, so
it's okay.
It's really something that's common.
I'm good, and I just want to wish everybody a happy Halloween week, because every week's going to be Halloween week until Halloween. That's right. October is the month that we all love. I don't know if we all love Christmas, because we don't all celebrate Christmas.
Off with that shit,
but
Safi.
Halloween is the bomb.
Yeah, well, yeah.
A lot of people love Halloween, and I do too. So
they like Mr. Sandman too.
Yeah.
Did you like that, Safi?
Mr. Sandman.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.